should black men value or try to achieve more, education-wise, business-wise, or should black women expect less from black men? So do black men rise up and learn more, or do black women actually not expect black women to earn more and have less achieving black men, right? This comes from, there was a speech that in America Tyler Perry did where he was saying black women should be satisfied with men who can just about pay the light bill, something like this, right? And I'm saying to black men now, should we push the narrative that as black men, we want to match black women and own institutions, own businesses, or have work or high paid work? Or should we tell our women, it's too much for us to do, let's just settle. Just settle with what you get.
I definitely believe that black men have to really, up the level, the games. And I'm saying collectively. I know there's a lot of like beautiful brothers out there who are like individually doing quite well for themselves. But like in terms of like a collective group, I think if you look at the statistics.
Oh, is that coming on the camera? Is that coming on the camera?
Oh yeah. Yeah. So I think in terms of the statistics, if you look at statistics, that black male underperform in comparison to black female, and I think we have to up a game. There's no other way around it. It's difficult. I'm personally in situations sometimes, where it's difficult as a black man in this country to like achieve and do certain things, but it shouldn't discourage me from trying to aim for excellence.
Excellent. Okay.
Yeah.
Jeez, it's a tough one, because women's nature is hypergamous, right? That's their operating system. And as men, our operating system is to be status striving. Always aiming to get above and keep on climbing up. But how it stands right now is, obviously, women are outperforming men, right? And no matter how much we say a woman should now go with a man who isn't above her socially and economically, like, it's not going to work. Short term, they may get together, but long term, they can't sustain. A man always has to be the leader, always has to be in the position of authority for it to ever be something possible. And it's a case of which generation are we talking to? Because certain generations are completely lost, right? Because a woman who is, Jesus Christ, I might get in trouble for this one. A woman who is 30 and above, right? Her pickings are going to be very slim. Very, very slim. And she may just have to enter into some type of polygamous relationship or some type of other relationship because she's going to want a man who is above her, and there's not going to be many men who can actually be on that level. And I don't think a man should ever be in a relationship where he's not socially and economically above a woman or in a leadership and authoritative position.
Right. So you're saying, so to the question, do you think men, as a man, we should actually try to preach and teach that black men improve and learn and progress that way? Or should women lower their standards?
No, I'm with the black men should actually improve themselves. But I'm saying where we are, but in the meantime, it's a big problem though.
So, and your solution is polygyny?
That's going to be the
So polygyny is your
like
solution?
Gen Z and below. That's who we're going to be teaching that to. But for us who are like millennials or boomers, boy.
So you're saying polygyny is what you're saying, right?
Yeah, well, polygyny is going to be the only...
You're saying that, right?
Yeah.
So this is what the brother says. So, brother, the question is this, yeah? Should black men collectively try to learn more, have more businesses, lead in that kind of way? Or should black women lower their standards and when it comes to picking a partner? So which one do you push?
Oh, which one? I don't think they should. I don't think they should lower their standards. I'm not encouraging anyone to lower. No, I don't think women should. I don't think the women should lower their standards. I think men should seek to fulfill their potential, and by having, by exercising the best attributes, they should inspire women, because women seek the best attributes in a man, and when the men exhibit the best attributes, women thrive off of that, respond to that, and celebrate that. So, but culture sets standards for a community. They say, go out there and get straight A's, go out there and get a good job, go out there and excel within your chosen field. So once we start to adopt these powerful these powerful accomplishments, achievements that are set from the home. So when your parents are already setting these instilling these standards in you, when would we start to exhibit these type of ambitions? I think that's the word I'm looking for. I don't think as black men we are ambitious. Sometimes we might not be as ambitious enough. Or if I'm not a footballer, then what do I do? Or if I'm not a rapper, then what do I do? That we can't limit ourselves to sports and entertainment alone. We have to be all excellent all across the board as men. Also, the women have to support these drives, these achievements, and also men should also have to support women's potential and encourage women to be better within their chosen field. And then that makes us ask another question, because if the man can't be a careerist and the woman can't be a careerist and expect to have, who's gonna look after the kids? Where's the time where we're gonna find that we can both?
Ask Kalam a question, because you said something so profound. You said that within this, so the millennials and like the boomers, it's already written. Could you elaborate on that? And,
Okay, so
expand on that?
yeah, it's done because time-wise, right? Yeah. So let me put it like this, right? For some of us, we are not university degree educated, right?
Okay.
For men over the age of 30 who are not as performing as well as the women who are university degree educated or in the career field, are we as men going back into university to get our degrees? I don't think we are, right? Then hold on. And then career-wise, are we getting the careers that we want? Can we match the women's income level? And most of us, it's a hard one, yeah? You can't. And then women who are above the age of 30, right? You've entered into the state of what's called geriatric pregnancy. So for me, a woman's worth definitely, I know this is gonna be bad, yeah? Again, woman's worth,
In her 20s.
a woman's worth is in her fertility, in her ability to be fertile, in her ability to be reproductive, right? So after the age of 30, 35 and onwards, right, there's less of a chance of you actually bearing fruit or bearing a child. And me, as a man of, I'm not 40, but me as a man of 40, am I going to go to a woman who's 35 and above to try to bear fruit with them? It's a wrap for that generation.
Why would you mention that though? So
go on.
We know that women, as they get older, less likely to get pregnant and stuff, right? So if the question is, should men improve our intelligence and our learning, is that issue separate from women? Like right now, black women have less choice if they want to go for successful men, educated men, maybe men who's not in jail, maybe men who's not homosexual, whatever. As time goes by, it's more challenges for them. Now, obviously, they're getting older, but should we be focusing on the women getting older? Should we focus on ourselves, trying to make ourselves better for the next generation?
No, because I was thinking about the millennials, right? This generation. So I'm saying the women are practically finished and the men are practically finished.
Right.
Productively, in terms of, getting into a career that's going to be more high paying or higher earning person compared to a woman, you're practically over. It's very unlikely a dog is going to learn new tricks, right? An old dog is going to learn new tricks. And I'm saying the women, they've reached that age where they're finished as well. Because let's just say I'm 40 now and I'm not going to go for a woman who's 40. I'm not going to a woman who's 40 if I want to have children with them. If I want to have a relationship with them, that's a different situation.
That's a very unique topic that we might be able to cover.
Because
we definitely want women to come down to give their perspective, but what I'm saying,
it's all tied in together, right? As I said, that our operating system is status striving, and the reason that we're striving to achieve a status is so we can actually have more women, or we can have sex with those women.
But the thing is, if a woman isn't in your time range, then she's just not an option, right? Women will have to go for other options, right? Tend to find that women tend to date older anyway.
Yeah.
So a woman who's in her 30s might want a 50, 45-year-old, whatever, right? 20 might be 30, who knows, right? So I don't know. I think what might be the poignant point is black men are not achieving at the rate of black women.
Yeah.
As black men, what do we do about that? Because one of the things we have to do, especially something that I've learned from talking for women, is whenever we've got men issues, we want to try to leave women as far away from it as possible. And for what I've seen, as men who are the leaders, we need to be able to change things with our actions because we're leading. So we can never point to women for any kind of problematic behavior they've done.
May I
we can reform
bring up an illustration? So I remember there was like this conversation in America about 5 months ago, and it was about like how the Mexicans are now doing. There was this like one Mexican actor who kind of started off like in an African American community as a comedian, and now he's very I don't know his name, but he came out and he was like, it is time that America starts to recognize that Mexicans are the most successful immigrant. Did you guys catch this one?
No, I didn't catch it.
Oh yeah,
I would say
yeah, but it happened. So, and then he was talking about, and then this conversation opened up about how some like people were saying how 30 years ago, like a lot of the Mexicans were like doing like laborers work and mechanics and nannies and maidens and all that stuff, and then they were working very hard, so much so that they were basically making sure that their children then go to university. And now we have an upwards trend of Mexicans doing extremely well in America, and that happened within 30 years. And one thing they were saying was, and there's this lady called Emi Shua, she wrote this book called Tiger Mom or something like that. Yeah, and she talks about how these, and she mentions Nigerians, why Nigerians and other communities do so well in America is because there's this thing called delayed gratification. I always talk to my family as well, is that we can't look at these other communities thinking, rah, look, their men are doing this and da, not understanding that that guy over there, that's my age, his granddad, was living with his uncle and his auntie, and they were saving so much money up. By the time that he's 20 years old, that he has already 100K waiting for him or a business waiting for him. So like this idea of like, I guess, I said that men have to do better, but then the females also have to understand that there has to be a sense of delayed gratification. You have to understand that you may perhaps not be in your youth when you yearn or you yield the hard work of your life. This might just be a reality, but you have to think about the generation to come. And I think this is the biggest problem that we have, and the dynamic between black male and female is that there's this expectation, because the only representation of black male that do well happen to be entertainers or ballers or drug dealers in even worse case scenarios. And these people have hundreds of thousands of resources, and then that becomes sort of like the gallant figure, like the figure that everyone looks up to, including a woman. And then when you, as an average Joe, don't pull in this six figure, you're somehow seen as like this like lazy, I know a lot of black men that are very hardworking, out here. They work and they try to provide for their families. But I think, again, it comes back to this culture of like, are we willing to sacrifice some energy to look at,
Very good points there. I would say this, yeah. I where you're coming from, but remember, we acknowledge that black women are better educated than black men. So even though there might be those who want football figures, generally black women say we just want an educated man who has a good job. Yeah. So, and don't forget, women, you can always come down because we want to hear your point. If you have black men talking, you only get a black man perspective. And write your stuff in the comments as well, right? But we've got to remember that, right? That most black women, they just want a black man who's educated.
But
good job.
remember,
That's not true.
Remember, not true. The brother says not true.
Remember,
Calm down, let's see.
I'm just talking about in terms of representation, because if you're looking at successful men out there, what are the representation of the sex of black man? And that's only the orientation that females
I'm
would
glad
have.
you said that, because that ties into creating institutions and media groups that promote that narrative. So we're doing a Black Bearing broadcast, we talk about black businesses and stuff, but if you don't see, you don't know. So we have to promote that as well. Anyone else for this topic, are we good? Because I know you've got time in that. I mean, unless you want to offer an explanation to your most black women want a baller or a football player, whatever it was.
I think every woman wants somebody who is up there. They will settle to what's on their level. So basically, let me know if you
But are they not saying that are they saying that the minimum is not being reached? So what they're saying is they really want a millionaire footballer or whatever, but they'll settle for a guy who's got his own business, or a guy who's high paid in banking or high paid in farm work or whatever. I don't know.
I think they will happily accept a man that earns more than them.
There you go. So, but that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
So we all agree that we're trying to make black men who make enough or more than black women.
Yeah.
So black women have better options.
Yeah.
So that's the goal. So, and the question is, maybe next week at some point, how do we do that? And then you're talking about placing values on different people, not shorting. Yeah.
Well, no, shout out to the drug dealers, Oxycontin, baby.
No, at all. Yeah. So what I'm saying is, if we have to visualize it and make it so,
That's
right?
a Netflix reference. It's a Netflix
So
reference. Go ahead,
Actually,
continue.
saying that, he mentioned something very, very interesting. I think that we have to pay a lot more attention to this as well. Gen Z and like the generations to come, like I think I've seen personally a lot of like young black guys who have online businesses and who are making the bank, you know, like because they grew up with the internet, they're utilizing the internet, and I think it's maybe perhaps. Can't we learn from them?
There you go. That's the step. That
I'm
we
good.
need to take.
All right, cool.
100%.
So the question was, should black men try to achieve more and learn more and get better businesses and better work, or should black women lower their expectations? The conclusion was, black men, we need to collectively move forward and learn more. But there was a fear that in the time now, because we're doing it now, there's going to be many black women who will not be able to find a black partner.
Yep.
And the brother says maybe polygyny is a solution, or lowering your expectation at that, in that junction, I'm assuming. But the overall goal is for us to, and then we tried to find ways of how we're going to do that. But if you want to continue this topic, we can bring it next week. We definitely want black women to come down, and hopefully on Titanstv and Content Over Everything, or whatever the shows are, we'll see this, and you can come down and talk about these topics.